Hi guys, this is going to be the Inktober full sketchbook tour. This isn't an ASMR video, it's just going to be a voiceover talk through of my entire sketchbook for 2019 Inktober. All of my sketches are in here, and basically just going to do a short description of each, kind of my inspiration behind them, and flip through describing each of my sketches. I hope that you like it, and let's get started. So I'm just going to get into the entire sketchbook tour of my Inktober. So this was my sketchbook that I used. I was on toned tan paper, so each of the sketches is on toned tan. I wanted that because it's kind of a mid-tone, and then I could add highlights or shadows wherever it was needed. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so the first word was ring, and I wanted to do like a ring of smoke, and then the rings on her finger. The rings on her fingers here were the main focus, and then kind of the smoke outlining her skull, which inevitably cuts right in here. So that was kind of the idea with the ring. Day 2 was mindless, the idea that we think with our hearts and not with our heads. At least that's how I feel most of the time. And that was just kind of described through this surreal portrait. Day 3, bait. Bait was inspired. I immediately think of sharks, so I wanted to do something with a shark and include a female, like a woman's mouth, in it as well. So basically, luring. It's actually my finger here was the reference photo. So I used my hand, took a picture of it, and then just kind of used different references for this one, luring in with a hook. Day 4, freeze, which is my new favorite, which I actually, at the end of the book, I'm just starting to sketch now for my next series. This is kind of symbolizing an alcoholic trapped inside their own reality. So the idea that the cubes kind of symbolize our realities, and then we're stuck inside them, but really we don't understand that at the time when we feel stuck, we don't see the other side, or we feel like we can't get out. So she's kind of painting something she's dreaming about, which is the hot air balloon. She can't get it, but really, it can melt. The cube can melt. You can get to wherever you need to be. So the idea here with the alcoholic, I'm just trying to broaden this concept here. So that was my intention. So I am going to be expanding on this. Day 5, build. The idea that we build ourselves up with these likes and comments on social media, but really they don't give us anything. So having to build up based upon whatever ideas that you have in your head, really it doesn't mean anything because it's just social media. I started to use colored pencil here too with some of the colors, so I kind of experimented with pen and pencil, and then I get into acrylic too down the line. As the days went on, I experimented with a little bit of acrylic on the pen. But this word was husky, but I kind of drew a wolf husky figure on the hand. I wanted to try and do a tattoo, of a hand tattoo. And I realized throughout Inktober that my alter ego is me with a bunch of tattoos, because this is just a picture of me that I took. I rolled up a receipt because I don't smoke. And that was the reference for the cigarette in my mouth, and then I just kind of went off of it. This was a good day. I remember I was in a good mood, and like I spent probably 2 hours on this drawing, and you can tell whenever you really get into the more detailed aspects of it. This is one of my favorites too. Day 7, enchanted. And enchanted, I immediately thought of the movie Enchanted, which didn't go along with my Inktober because of obvious reasons, but I think that the idea that like our minds twist and turn and they topple into and out of each other, like into and onto themselves, like that idea that when you look at that person, you feel like your whole mind just like shifts, like you just have like a spatial shift, whatever that even is supposed to mean. But that's kind of this idea. And this is a picture of Charlize Theron. She's one of my favorite actresses, so I like to use her as references a lot, but I just drew her body and then, her head kind of exploding. She had like a crown thing on, but I just kind of made it into something random. Day 8 was frail. I actually want to make a painting out of this. So I want to do it like going from young to old, you know, a regular chair turning into a wheelchair. The idea that, you know, even if as my bones grow frail and I fade back into the earth, like my heart will still shine for you. So that was the concept with that. I always think of lines of poetry before I draw or after I draw. They come to me. And not even, you don't even have to classify them as poetry, just lines of words that kind of describe exactly what I'm feeling or drawing, to express the feeling itself with an image. So that was, you know, the overall theme is that love has no age. Swing. The swing, if you can't see it, it's right up here. And basically the idea that my mind, if it's like when I think about you, I feel like I'm swinging off something and going into another dimension, like an interdimensional shift. So that's, I like to expand the mind outward in these drawings. That's kind of the theme that I have with this, and then like the enchanted one as well. And there's Saturn, and just doing like some planets and line work here, and a figure looking down, and like her shoulder. Day 10, pattern. This one was more based just on the idea of a pattern. I like women who wear blazers, and that's kind of, honestly, on a shallow level, that's what inspired this one. I saw an image of this blazer and I wanted it to come to life, and obviously I had to do something different with it. It couldn't just be like a magazine picture, so I exploded the flowers up, exploded the flowers out of her arm here, and just kind of experimented there. Day 11, snow. I wanted to do a type of snow queen, and this was one that I came up with. So it's the woman, so the snowflakes above her crown, and then her hair kind of cascading down. She kind of looks sad, or like she has a black eye, which I kind of like in the end. Day 12, dragon. This is actually a picture of my friend. And she had a picture of her leaning against, like, she was on a couch and she was reading a book about Picasso. But I wanted to do a spin and, like, have her become a dragon, kind of like a Khaleesi Game of Thrones vibe to it. So I added Game of Thrones, and then I did a dragon with different green, and I added green throughout, added horns on her, and, like, give her white, vibrant, like, white, icy hair. And then she kind of turning into one, and that was the composition. But I really like how this one turned out. I spent probably like 2 to 3 hours on this one, but I really ended up liking it, and how the dragon looks too. It's one of my favorites. This one, I'll turn it so that you can kind of see it better. This is ash, and I just had the idea of like morphing a woman's figure with natural elements, like a volcano or mountains in the background. So just having a woman in line with nature and kind of working on her body type and stuff. I loved doing figures. This is probably my best figure that I did. It looks the most natural. And I do like the natural curves and how she's curvy and not like rigid. There's not a rigidity to it. She kind of just flows. Overgrown. Overgrown is one of my favorite ones. It's, you know, Venus and goddess of perfection, ideal beauty, you know, the perfect woman. The idea of that perfect woman, I think we're all obsessed with in our society today. So this I compared to somebody that I loved that isn't perfect, and she's quite broken. And I think I love her even more for that. So the idea that we love people that are broken, and it makes them even more beautiful. So I broke Venus into different flowers and different lines and stuff to get the point across that, you know, beauty is something that isn't perfect. It's something that, you know, we show our vulnerabilities, and it makes us more perfect, in my opinion. Legend, day 15. It's about halfway through now, and legend was one that I thought of. It was kind of a harder concept. I didn't know how I would do it with the body, but I added a castle in this body, a key, so the person is holding the key to, like, the line of words that I came up with is, I search for your legend. I search for the key to your most beautiful legends, like the most beautiful stories that you have inside of you. I want to find the key to that. Like, I want you to open up to me. So that was that interpretation. I don't even know if it makes sense to anyone, but that's kind of where I was coming from. Day 16, wild. This is a bit of a different one, I'd have to say. Somebody commented, and I'll put a picture because it is legendary. This Scooby-Doo movie that I used to watch when I was little. Scooby-Doo, it's like a zombie apocalypse, something, I forget what the name of the movie is, but I used to watch it, like subconsciously. Maybe I took this idea from that. I don't know, but I looked up a picture and it's like exactly the same. But I just had the idea of like a woman's head turning into an animal, and I picked a tiger, and then she's drinking like the blood and taking off her shirt, or I don't even know, but she has like a scar and stuff. It was just like a more creative, fun one. It wasn't as like obviously deep as some of my other crazy ones. Ornament. This is day 17. This one came about sporadically. So the idea that the Titanic's sinking inside this ornament, it's cracking, it's dripping out. Just the idea of something huge and something little, just like a basic surrealism effect. This is my favorite one. I will say this is my favorite one, I think, from the series. Day 18, misfit. So this one, there's the woman in the middle with all of the men in business suits. Some of them are different shapes and sizes. And she's just kind of out there, bold red. She's wearing something a little bit more scandalous here. No face. She's blonde. She has holding a sign, rainbow, woman. It was just kind of just a concept that I thought of that was inspired by Andy Warhol's soup cans. The idea of pop art and having a ton of stuff in line, and then having just a random outcast, a misfit, feeling like you're the misfit, the odd one out. Sling, day 19. This one's a little bit darker, but more cartoonish. This one was probably my quickest drawing, and you could probably tell in terms of detail. Like, I think that's another thing. I looked back and saw the detail when I took more time and I was more alert. Like, I'll just compare it to this. You can tell. Just different days, even different moods, but sling. So this is my heart. This is a sling with blood dripping. The idea that thanks for playing with my heart. I hope you had fun. It was like you held on to me and then you let me go, and that was it. So just a little dark, but I know I'm not the only one that feels like this sometimes. More often than not. Day 20, tread. Treading, walking, carrying, holding something that you can't really carry, holding things that are heavier than others. And then I thought of words, doing some like typography type of stuff. So strength, I carry failure, social media stress, pain, sadness, bliss. I carry, the good stuff too. Bliss, truth, apologies, creativity, being used, betrayal, love, you, the person that you care about, deadlines, and ease, spirit, trust, all these things. Treasure. This kind of goes along with legend. It's kind of a better version of it, but unlocking somebody's treasure, unlocking that inner part of somebody that they don't want to show to everybody. So the treasure chest opening up, and then you got the light shining out. I really like how this one looks, actually. And I kind of went along with the bust and the like faceless people as I went on. And I like the curve of her body. This is another one of my favorite bodies. It looks like natural to me. Ghost, day 22. Ghost, so the idea of holding on to something that's not really yours. You weren't in love with me, but you were in love with, in fact, my ghost, like the idea that you had of me, trying to hold on. So like trying to hold on to those people that we make up in our heads for those people that we love or that we care about or think that we love, but then it's really not them in the end. So that's the inspiration behind that one. Day 23, ancient. So this is ancient Queen Nefertiti. Immediately when I think ancient, I think of ancient Egyptian tombs, ancient Egyptian pyramids, that's the first thing I think of. So I wanted to do a drawing of an ancient Egyptian type of pharaoh, queen. Well, obviously a queen, which should have been a pharaoh, but anyway, I was in between Cleopatra and Nefertiti, and I went with Nefertiti, put the pyramids on her head, like carrying some history there. Dizzy, day 24. Thoughts around you make me dizzy. This is how I feel when I look at you. People that make us dizzy, people that make our minds twist and turn. This is a concept, actually, that as I'm explaining it, most of mine kind of revolve around this concept. So this is Dizzy, and obviously off of some Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. That's surrounding this concept. Tasty, day 25. You were like a taste of the universe. You were everything I ever wanted, type of idea. So basically the universe inside of this mouth is just very straightforward, two-dimensional concept. Just wanted to really try out how it would look, and added some, this is when I started to add acrylic, by the way. So acrylic paint over pen. Dark, day 26. You can only see my light in the darkness, so you can only see the light in the darkest parts. Here's the, sorry if you can hear my fridge, it just randomly turned on, so I'm sorry if that's like a little bit annoying, which it is to me, because now I'm noticing it. But the skull, her skeleton, and then it kind of has a Day of the Dead, my friend said. It has a Day of the Dead type of vibe, which I can see now. But I added some flowers, and they kind of turn black here, and you can see her true self, which we all are just blood and bones at the end of the day under our skin. So you can only really see our true light, our true souls, when in the dark, when you don't really see me, like my outer shell. Coat, day 27. So I really like this concept. It's the idea, I think the words that I used were dripping, she was cloaked in gold, dripping in gold, you were like a walking heaven. So this kind of has a universe type feel too, with like the universe exploding, and then she's kind of wearing this yellow rain jacket that turns into this fur, and doesn't have a face, but she's the universe itself. Okay, so this is day 28, which is Ride. Ride is just, this is like my paradise here. I mean, it's me on a bike. I thought of motorcycle. Well, it's not me. I actually used a different one, but it ended up looking like me. Sitting with a big, huge coffee mug. I have tattoos. I've just kind of chilling on this bike. There's paint on it, dripping down. There's some papers of writings, paintbrushes, palette. I'm at the beach. Just the idea of ride to your safe haven, ride to where you feel happy and free. Day 29, injured. I felt like this before. I think to an extent we all feel like this, but feeling like the idea that someone leaves you feeling like you're bruised and not whole, but really you are in fact whole. You're just hurting. Your heart feels like it's outside your chest. Isn't connected to you, like it's been stolen, but really you're in control of it. Just messed with different figure too for this one. Day 30, catch. I'm caught in the web of you. You promise me things, and I'm end up caught in this web that I can't get out of. That's the feeling of being stuck. That's another theme too, with the feeling of being stuck, like this one too, but just a different take on it. Obviously added some line work, and this woman that's wearing a crown, being promised the world, but given just a feeling of being secluded and stuck. Oh, but the word's catch, so caught, I just thought like I'm caught in a web, but the word that kind of inspired it was catch, and there's like spider up here. Last but not least, we have ripe. I ended it as it all began with the offering of an apple with Eve. I didn't add Adam in it, but I have the serpent, the snake, and just this kind of female nude. She took a bite of an apple, and it's bleeding down and into the middle of her legs, in between her legs, which obviously creates life as well. So it's just kind of a big take on life, and then the apple itself leading into the Garden of Eden, come into paradise. that was the last drawing. And then, like I said, this was yesterday. I drew just an idea for my next series, but that was the entire Inktober. I still, when I'm going through them, it seems like just different stories that I told each day, which is inevitably what it was. But yeah, I can't believe that I completed Inktober. Even me saying it, it's still kind of surreal. I know it sounds just like, why do you even do it? Like, why, if you're not making money, why are you doing it? But I wanted to do it as just a challenge for myself. And I feel like I've come up with a bunch of concepts, a bunch of new ideas. I can easily make these into paintings. I mean, I can easily make them into prints. And I do want to design a book with the little writings and blurbs that I just said. So if you are interested in that, let me know, because I'm going to be starting to design that as well and kind of figure out a way that I could sell them. And I think they might be good holiday gifts, maybe centered them around like women empowerment and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my voiceover, and these are all of my sketches for the month of Inktober. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope that you enjoyed all the drawings and kind of got a better description of each, my mindset behind each of the prompts, and kind of how my drawings went about every single day of October. I hope that you like them. Let me know what's your favorite one. I will be making this into a book. I'll be designing each and putting them into like a book format. So I'm excited about that and getting started on my next painting series. So let me know which one was your favorite, and thank you guys for watching. And also let me know if you'd be interested in the book, because I might want to sell like paperback or hardback copies. Thank you for watching, and subscribe if you haven't already.